This is episode 29 with the Lizzard Kings. Happy spring, everybody. I hope you're getting out safely and enjoying the spring weather. I know I am I'm actually out my patio recording this intro and outro, so I apologize for any background noise you might be hearing, but I couldn't resist the outdoors today. Hopefully you're hearing some of the birds. So as I already said, this episode features the Lizzard Kings. All but one of the band members showed up virtually from their respective homes, so you will be hearing many voices today. Some a little more clear than others, but I am incredibly honored that they took time out to interview with the show. We are going to discuss their inspirations, creative processes, and always a little advice. They're going to share 4 tracks with you guys, 2 off a previous record and 2 off their recently released record. We will discuss them all, as well as their filming and video of the first single off the new release, Jim Crow's Shadow. Link for the video will be down below, and I hope you enjoy.
All right. So everybody, I am here with the Lizzard Kings. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves individually and tell the listeners what kind of music you do and a little bit about yourselves.
Well, I'm Wally B. Ford. I'm the main songwriter, and I play guitar. And I guess we call our music deep fried original Memphis music. It's kind of a mixture of blues and rock and a whole lot of different things thrown in together, and we kind of mix it up. It's kind of a mixture of a lot of different things.
All right, Charles?
Charles Ponder. Guess I'm the vocalist, lead vocalist. Sometimes I play a little harmonica if they let me.
All right, and Tim?
Yes, my name is Tim Goolsby. I'm mainly the bass player for them. I do a little backups, but yeah, I play okay bass for them.
All right, and Dwayne?
Hey, I'm Dwayne Cardle, and I'm the drummer for the Lizzard Kings, and I guess I'm the second longest standing member of the band since like 2014, so that's, wow, 7 years. I can't even believe it's been 7 years.
Yeah, really.
And although I'm the drummer, I will admit, Tim crashes a cymbal every now and again, and, he does drums and percussion as well during the show. It's always awesome.
Okay, how'd you guys get together? I know you've been together for a while, but how'd you get together?
Well, I had the band back in the 90s. I started recording a CD. I was in college studying music at the University of Memphis, and I started recording a CD for Eddie. He's sitting over here, and I wanted to put a band together to play the music we were recording, and put the first Lizzard Kings together. That was back in 1994, and we played around Memphis for a few years, and then I moved up into the country because personal problems, and stayed up. I quit playing music altogether for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then it came back to Memphis, I guess it was maybe early 2000, and started playing again, and one thing led to another, and we ended up getting together. Dwayne's the one that's been with us the longest that's in the band now, and then Charles and Tim and Steve's our newest addition. He's not with us tonight. He's on his way to California, but it's kind of an extension of something that started back in the 90s.
Yeah, when we got together with this edition, we were trying to come up with a name. Because Wally didn't want to use the same name. He said, well, that band is gone, so what are we going to name the band? With all different folks on it. Only person that was the same was Wally. And then it was Wally Ford and the Lizzard Kings. And, we just said, hey, man, why change it? It's not broke. Don't fix it. Lizzard King's cool with everybody. So that's why we kept the name. and we got the well. I got in the band. Was it 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wayne used to play at a friend's house, and I just liked the way he played drums. I said, hey man, I'd love to work with you one day. I said because I mean, as a drummer, you look and say, hey man, you get ready to do something else. We're like simpaticos.
So this group of guys, how long have you guys been together?
With everyone is about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And was there like a magic moment where you were like, this works, this is the combination?
I'd say ever since we first got together, it's been like that.
Just worked.
Yeah, it worked. It worked better with Tim. When Tim got in, we really knew it was all. When Tim came in, it was really right because we were trying with another bass player, and then we said, well, we got to find another bass player because he dropped out, and then Tim showed up, and he was like, I'm not taking no for me.
He's like, you want me?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh man,
is this the first time you guys have seen each other in a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of keeping your distances because of COVID, or?
Yeah, we haven't rehearsed or anything in months.
Yeah, months.
Yeah, I think
wearing Wally out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think I've seen Wally twice in this last year, and that's to grab a laptop and work on it for him. And I think I've seen Tim once in the past year. And I mean, really, we just, we're taking COVID very seriously. We're not trying to be overbearing old curmudgeons, but we want to live stuff.
Yeah, breathing is good. Breathing is a necessity, and not enough people are taking it serious. And I know it's been hard on musicians. How have you guys been getting through?
Well,
I've been door dashing. I've just gone with the gig economy and just said, well, let's roll with it. I'm away. I get to see people, but I don't get to touch them.
Yeah.
Keep my distance, do what I got to do, and I come home when I get ready.
We're huggers. We good friends.
Oh yeah.
It hurts us not to be together.
Are you guys able to practice virtually or?
No.
No, we haven't done anything like that.
I keep busy. I sing all the time, but it's just I can't sing with the guys.
What do you call your type of music again in your work?
Original deep fried Memphis music.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how'd you come up with that?
I think it was me.
It was, yeah.
We were just talking about. I said, what are we gonna call this? That we Memphis soul stew, And I said, everybody deep fries everything now, so let's call us deep fried because we put a whole lot of stuff into it. And we just mix it all together, so we deep fry it. You take a bite, you don't know what you're gonna get, but you get a lot of different tastes.
Another thing that spawned that as well was because we do majority, in fact, it's all original. All of our music is original. Wally is the songwriter. On the last CD we put out, we were fortunate to have some other songs by Charles on there, and myself and Jesse Brandstetter, who's no longer in the band. But when we've gone back and forth through the years, we've debated about whether we wanted to do cover songs or not, whether it was advantageous to do cover songs. So another way that the deep fried moniker kind of came up was, if we're going to do cover songs, we need to deep fry them and kind of make them our own and not just do them, pat. So that was a term we used. We'll do covers, but we got to deep fry them. And so that's another roundabout way that deep fried Memphis music.
Where'd you get the Iron Maiden song? Like, Iron Maiden? Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, some guy he accused us of doing an Iron Maiden cover one night. We were like, Iron Maiden, really? Because I love Iron Maiden, so
So Wally, you've been the one who's done a majority, it sounds like, of the songwriting. How'd you get into songwriting?
Oh, when I was 12 years old, I grew up with my grandparents because my parents divorced when I was real young, when I was a baby. I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandfather played guitar. in a gospel group. That's how he met my grandmother. And his father was actually in vaudeville. He played the violin, the fiddle, I guess it was called. When I was 12 years old, my grandfather bought me a guitar, and I didn't know any songs, so I just started writing songs. I started writing my own songs, and that's pretty much how I learned to play the guitar. Just started writing and just kept doing it. And then the longer I did it, the better I got at it.
Charles, when did you start? When did you start falling in love with music?
I guess with Mom, because we used to do like family sing-arounds, folk music. We pull out a songbook and had all kinds of folk songs in it. And we used to sing them all the time. And my favorite was "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain." So I used to like the chicken and dumplings. We all had chicken and dumplings when we come. I fell in love with it from that point on, I guess, because my whole family, we all sit around and just sing.
Right.
Song and go for it. They knew what I was going to sing. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. So that was my favorite.
Tim's down there playing his bass guitar. Tim, when did you fall in love with music?
Yeah. My dad, he played country music, so he got me really into music, and I didn't care for what he did, and he didn't care for what I did. But hey, it started, and it was
okay. And Dwayne?
Man, I fell in love with music from the earliest age because it was always around my house, and I was very lucky to have a diverse influence of music. Bluegrass from my grandfather, gospel from my grandmother. I got, Hendrix from my uncle who went to Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera. So I grew up listening to all kinds of music, but I actually did not become a musician until I was 40 years of age. And I did it on a dare, from a coworker. It was like, hey man, I'm going to get a guitar. You get the drums. You've always wanted to be a drummer, and let's do this. And I'm still drumming, and he never really got the guitar and did anything with it. So yeah, I thank him for spurring me on, man. Yeah. For making me take that step to, live this dream to be a musician, which is kind of what I always wanted to do. I just waited so late to get started. Better late than never.
The Off Lost in Paradise, the first album you guys sent me, the first song I want to talk about is Love's Fire. Why don't you tell me about that song?
Well, that's one I wrote. And I guess I wrote that one back in like 90, 95, 96. Mm-hmm. I was smitten by a girl. Yeah.
Isn't that how most love songs start?
Yeah. And I just liked the way she was, and I said, well, ooh, that's a girl you just, and she was kind of fiery. So she said what she had to say and had no nonsense, and I just, ooh, I like it, right. And then it just came. I went home and it came out just quick and simple. A couple of them did actually at that point. But I had nobody to. I basically wrote the lyrics and had my own tune. Had my own tune in my head, and then the guys one day said, "I said, well, I'd like to do this song," and it sounded like one that Wally wrote. And so I said, "No, we can't do it. I can't do two songs that sound alike. Yours and then mine. We can't do that." And so I was late for rehearsal one day, and I came in, and the guys, they were jamming. I was like, wow, ooh, what song is this? What's the name of it? They said it doesn't have a name. I said, it does now. And that's the thing. But it was just about a girl.
Was it an unrequited love song, or did it help you with the girl?
No, it was unrequited.
Damn.
But at least she got a copy of it. I said, I wrote this song for you. But we're still good friends.
You got a song out of the deal.
Yeah, I got two. I got actually two. I haven't heard the other one.
Don't be afraid to communicate what's really going on inside you. You ignite in me a love created energy. As love fire grows, I think you should know I want you to be the one with me. Light my fire. Oh, I really like your fire. Your fire lights my fire. Yeah, your fire lights my fire. Light my fire. Ooh, I really like your fire. Your fire lights my fire. Oh, your fire lights my fire. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what can I do? There must be a better way to let you know that I adore you. Girl, the time is now. Let your feelings go. As love fire grows and passion flows, yin yang coming together. Oh, I really like your fire. My fire. Oh, your fire lights my fire. Ooh, I really like your fire. Fire lights my fire. Oh, I really like your
Oak is a song. There's a guy here in Memphis. I've known him for many years. His name's Mike Strickland, and he plays a lot of gigs around town. He's been doing that for years. And maybe probably about 10 years ago, I got together with him, and we started writing a bunch of songs, and that's one of the songs that me and him wrote. And where it comes from, I think it was one of the great philosophers, I forget which one, but he said that people are like trees, and the tree that bends with knows how to bend with the storm. His branches won't break. He knows how to survive the storm. The tree that is able to bend with the storm will survive it, and the tree that tenses up and his branches will break and he won't survive the storm. Mm-hmm. And just kind of gave us the idea for the lyrics of that song.
Yeah, I really like that song quite a bit. It's been a rough year, and you either go with it or you don't. I think it
has a lot of relevance. It applies to a lot of current situations. Yeah.
From the acorn, a mighty oak, how did you grow to be so strong? Seasons change, you still stand tall, a pillar of strength in spite of it all. A young and tender sapling who, in search of answers, comes to you. Share with me your wisdom deep, a word of knowledge that I can keep. Don't tense your branches in the pouring rain. must bend with every breeze. So my friend, be like the oak and learn to roll with the flow. Don't tense your branches in the pouring rain when storms of life become hurricanes. A tree must bend so his trunk won't break. Don't tense your branches, learn to move and sway.
I guess it's your new album. I want to jump into the video that you did, but we're going to save that song for last. So why don't you tell me about So Gone, So Long?
Well, Eddie, sit over here for a minute. Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
That's a title I had one day. Of course, Wally and I are always coming up with titles and ideas, and then we get together and we work them out. And so Gone, So Long is just what it says. It's like you've been in a relationship and you're done. You know, it's like out of here and so long, goodbye. And we just started writing, and I think we went through one version of it. Then, as he and I often do, we rewrite a lot. And so we came up with the theme of going to New Orleans, you know, just because in the South, it's just the go-to city, place to go and just forget about it all. And the track turned out really great. And it's one of my favorite tracks on the CD.
Now, Eddie, who are you in the Lizzard Kings? We didn't get a chance to introduce you. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm co-writer. Wally and I write together.
Okay.
And Lost in Paradise was something that the band did. Wally and I often collaborate with a lot of blues. And so this particular CD, Jim Crow's Shadow, was a collaboration between Wally and me, and the band, you know, recorded the song and performed the song. So I was co-producer and co-writer on Jim Crow's Shadow.
Eddie owns,
and I own the studio, Inside Sounds, the studio.
Oh, okay. And is the studio in Memphis?
Yeah. Inside Sounds, and we work with a lot of real diverse artists. You know, we work with blues bands like Daddy Mac Blues Band, or there's Sandy Carroll, who's a blues artist, David Evans, who's a acoustic blues artist, Ghost Town Blues Band, and we did a series which is real interesting. And Charles was a part of the Fried Glass Onions Memphis Meets the Beatles series. We produced 4 CDs, basically Beatles tribute with a Memphis twist. And so we had concerts around the area, and we released 4 CDs over the years. So we've done a lot of different things like that.
That's really some of my favorite stuff too from Inside Sounds. It's the Fried Glass Onion stuff, man. That's good stuff for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. If you can send me some links, that'd be great, because that sounds. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so I'm down.
Wonderful players. I mean, incredible musicians. We had a studio band. It was sort of the focal point of it, but we also brought in different Memphis bands that wanted to be a part of the project. And, of course, as I mentioned, Charles sang In My Life. Day Tripper is another one. She's a Woman. But you can look up Fried Glass Onions, Memphis Meets the Beatles. And, I mean, it sold, a few thousand copies over the years. It goes back, I think, between 2006 and 2012. We produced 4 CDs.
if I have to crawl, I'll be dancing in the street, yeah, down at the Mardi Gras. So long. Each time I was traveling on, so long. Louisiana's calling me home. So gone, yeah, so gone. Ooh, so long.
And the last question, well, not the last, well, the last question about the new album is Jim Crow's Shadow. So why don't y'all tell me about that track? Because that is a very, very relevant track.
It is so relevant. I mean, Wally and Eddie and Wally wrote it. But when I first heard it, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I guess because we're living in it. You know?
We are.
Yeah. And my take on it is it's not just a black-white issue. It's a universal issue.
Yeah.
You know, because Jim Crow affects the world, not just a group of people. It affects everyone. And how we get along and how we separate each other. And my thing in video, I wanted to get across. We never got to the sign, but the last thing I wanted people to see was there's one race,
right?
The human race.
The human
race. If you're not
race.
human, then that's it. You're either a dog or a shrimp or a lobster or something else.
Be honest, and straightforward about the song itself. For me personally, it really was, I guess, an expression of the frustration of the Trump era. I mean, all that dark side of America was this underbelly was coming out, and of course, Jim Crow laws. I mean, a lot of people coming up don't understand what Jim Crow even was. Mm-hmm. Basically, were laws and customs, if you want to call them that discriminated black people and disenfranchised them for 100 years or more. And so in the last few years, of course, in the United States, we've seen Jim Crow rearing his ugly head again. So it's kind of a unique.
We're still living in the shadow of Jim Crow.
We're living in the shadow of Jim Crow. And so Wally and I worked on that song. At first, it was something else. It was just a blues song. And
then we brainstormed on it and came up with Jim Crow's Shadow.
We actually wrote a whole song, and then we weren't happy with it. And we threw it away, and then came up with this idea of Jim Crow's Shadow. And it fit really well. And it actually was written before the protests and everything that went on last year. The song was, actually, we recorded it about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Came back into the studio, what was 2019, we recorded it. Then we took a break from those sessions with the Lizzard Kings, and we came back in at the January of 2020.
And actually, the week we finished the recording project, the next week was when everything went into lockdown for COVID, so we finished it just in the right time.
Yeah, the entire CD was finished the week of the COVID lockdown. With all the politics and protests, you know, we came up with this concept. We brainstormed. We thought Jim Crow's Shadow would be the perfect video. And of course, because of COVID and, you know, and social distancing, we couldn't get the whole band together. So it worked great, just the only person, and that's all you needed. And then of course you've got downtown Memphis and the scenery and the historic buildings and, you know, the Lorraine Motel, which is now the Civil Rights Museum, where, you know, Martin Luther King was assassinated. So that was sort of one of the focal points of the video. And so we really we're very satisfied with the video. I'm glad you like it too, because
I did. I've played it for a couple people, and I'm really surprised that you wrote it before, because it hits in such a way that I thought you guys had done it, like had been moved by the protests, but.
Yeah, that's what inspired me. Is like, you know, originally I'm from Newark, New Jersey, and so in '67 we had the long hot summer, you know, where riots and everything was going on. And, you know, I still communicate with a lot of my classmates, and so one of my classmates sent me the Life magazine picture from Newark. I said, oh man, because I mean it was kind of gross, because it was like someone at my age at that time, like 10 or 12 years old, dead in the street. That got shot. So, I mean, Life magazine was really hard. They used to do all kinds of stuff. So they had that picture. I said, well, Eddie, what do you think about putting this Jim Crow Shadows and showing the unrest back then and going on now? And he said, yeah, that's a little bit too hard, but we'll come up with something else. We searched a lot of pictures, found a lot of photographers that were taking pictures of the Black Lives Matter and different things like that. And tried to get some stuff that I knew about when I was a kid, pictures from back then. So I got a lot of pictures. You'd be hard pressed not to find anything from any era where there was not an unrest.
We feel like you say, it sounds like it was written during all that. But when you think about it, Charlotte, 3 years ago or whenever that was, you know, different things going on. And but yeah, we actually had finished the recording of that song, you know, before the lockdown even, and we had the first initial basic tracks were recorded the previous year even. But of course, with everything going on, we didn't release the CD because, you know, the band wasn't performing. It kind of it was a screeching halt, you know, to life for a lot of people. Not sure what to do, and then you feel a little bit stuck for a minute. And then we waited months before we even released the CD. Yeah. And then once we got in gear to release the CD, we talked about, we got to do a video of the song. And as Charles explained, all these photographs were an integral part of telling the story. Did you know, of course, part of blues music is the jug band tradition. And Louisville was, you know, back in the 20s and I guess 30s, was a real hot spot for jug band music. I don't know if you knew that. In New Orleans, Memphis. Yeah. I mean, in Louisville, Kentucky's more than just bluegrass music, you know. Yeah, that downtown Memphis, and obviously the Lorraine Motel, the Civil Rights Museum, that was, integral to the story. And we did plan, certain places to go, and then some of it, Memphis is real interesting. Downtown Memphis it's a great spot for indie movies, and every now and then we get a pretty authentic, There's some of the scenes in Mississippi, the scenes where Charles is holding some cotton in his hand, and that was shot, like just across the state line in Mississippi, North Mississippi. So we did
we were
all,
looking
all
for
the
a cotton field and cotton. And when we got where we were, we saw the cotton was chopped down, and I was like, "Well, how are we gonna shoot this? There's no cotton." And I walked in the field, and I found this little bulb. I said, "Now I'm from the city.
Yeah.
Only cotton I pick is off the rack."
Thank you.
The cotton balls.
Right. So I picked up a bowl, and I was looking at it. I said, "Wow, all this for this little bowl." And he filmed it, and it's just magical. Matt Isabel shot that.
Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. I'm still fighting like my granddaddy did before. I've been down all my natural days. I've been down all my natural days. Just how many dues must a poor man have to pay? Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. I'm still struggling like my granddaddy did before. They got 1,000 ways to keep the brown man down. Got 1,000 ways to keep the brown man down. Watch your step or you'll be 6 feet underground. Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. Jim Crow shadow darkens every door. I'm still struggling like my granddaddy did before. I'm still fighting like my granddaddy did before. It follows me everywhere I go.
Side note, I'm really, really glad you guys didn't wait until all of this was over to release that music, because everything that you sent me is fantastic. Like, you're very, very good band, and you don't hear good Memphis-y blues a lot enough for me. I love it. I think we're all in a time where we need more music right now.
I mean, I consider us very fortunate to have been able to release new material during the lockdown. So many artists that are just at our level, I mean, they just were not able to sustain anything. And thank you, Eddie. We were able to actually put something out and keep our name out there on social media and, you know, in the followers' mouths, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, you know, because we're in the underground, so.
Well, we had to do it. I mean, you know, I guess it's that whatever, if you want to call it, the work ethic. And Wally will tell you this too. We really enjoy writing songs, but we like to see them produced, you know, and released. And at the label, you know, over the years, this label has released about 90 CDs. So it's just, you know, I hate to go a year without releasing one. And at least last year with COVID and everything else, like you said, I'm glad we did get something out, because for a while there, I just wasn't sure what to do, because, you know, even though we got some airplay and some attention, and of course the video got views on YouTube, we knew the band couldn't perform, and it's hard to support a recording if the band can't be in front of an audience. But you know, I guess a lot of new CDs probably came out at the end of the summer, beginning of the fall. I think a lot of people just had pent up creativity, you know, and went ahead with CDs, because we, you know, definitely I think across the board in the industry there wasn't a whole lot of music, not as much music released as there normally was. So, but that picked up, you know, towards the fall. So yeah, we're real happy we got it out. And like you said, I mean, I'm glad we didn't hold it back any longer.
What advice would you give somebody who wants to start writing music?
I'd say just do it. Just the more you do it, the better you get at it. And listen to everything. Listen, and learn. The radio is the best teacher, or podcast, or whatever you listen to, is the best teacher, because usually those are people that are doing it right, you know. And if you don't know what you're doing, that's probably one of the best ways to learn, you know. Not only that, but learn from other writers. You know, work with other writers, write with them. Go in studios, and, you know, if you have some money, go in recording studios and cut your songs and learn from the people in the studios, and keep doing it and learn from everybody you can and try to get better. That's all I can say.
Okay, Charles?
Well, with me, it's an inspiration type of thing. And my songs come from inspiration, like I said, one that came from Unrequited Love, and the other one I wrote for Heart of the City. My daughter said something that's like, oh, wow. I said, I bet you I can make that into a song. And so each line came over, and I was inspired. I would hear something, and I said, oh man, that's what I need to put in the song. And I changed the way it was said, and to fit what I wanted to say. And anytime I'm inspired to write anything, I write it down. I mean, if you look at notebooks around my house, and this phone here has tons of stuff that oh, I like that, and I'll sit and type it out. People say, what are you doing? I say, I was inspired to write something. So it may not be but a line or two, but, you know, I write it out. Like Wally said, I just write it out. I don't get with too many other writers, so, you know, I just write it out myself. And then if I get with Wally or somebody else, because I got with Wally on Heart of the City, and Wally said, well, you shouldn't do it like this, you should do it like this. I said, okay. And so, you know, that helped me out.
Tim, what about you?
Man, I just go along with the groove, and I don't write, but I start up something, I'll start playing. So we'll
just do it.
That way. Yeah.
Just do it.
Just got that feel, and just make it happen. And if you go in there the next day, you might have a different feel with the same song. You just stuff happens. Yes, just I wish I could write like those guys. I just always been just the bass player.
Well, I mean, what would you say to somebody who wanted to start playing the bass, who's just starting out?
Oh man, just attack it and just play it come from the heart. the rest falls, the chips fall where they fall.
Yeah.
I just totally enjoy it. When I went and heard they give me a couple of songs, and I fell in love with the songs and said, I want to play these songs with y'all. So I had to fight a little bit, and go there and blow it out and enjoyed it, and they could see my love for it, for what their music was at that time. I'm a lizard for life, So.
Lizard for life. Y'all have got to get shirts that say that.
Hey, something like that.
We gotta come up with some new thing, like lizards for life or something.
Like
a Lizard Fever shirt. Remember Lizard Fever? I call it Lizard Fever.
Dwayne, what would you say to somebody who wanted to start playing drums, who's new to it?
Hey, man, I think I'm a perfect example of that. Number one, you're never too late to start. If you have a commitment, it's something that you want to do, you will make time to do it. I talk to so many people, and I hear them say, man, that's great. I would really love to do that, almost in a defeatist attitude. And my approach is, if you really want to do it, you'll find the time. You'll make it a priority, and you will find the time to make it happen. Same thing with the songwriting. I only consider myself to be an extremely novice songwriter at this point, but everything they said is true as far as exposure, perseverance, practicing the craft, but also knowing a little bit about yourself and figuring out what works best for you, because I know now, in my position as a songwriter, I'm not somebody that can sit down and just bang out songs and do that. I'm not that accomplished. So I work better with a partner. So it's a matter of finding the right partner and somebody that inspires you. And I've worked with a couple of different people. Wally and Charles and I tried to write one night. That we're going to try again at some point. But you have to know yourself and how you work and who somebody that can compliment you. That's what I had to do, was seek out somebody that had ideas like me unfinished, and we could work together to finish them. And here's what I have. For me, that's kind of how it works as a songwriter. But as far as learning an instrument, if you want to do it, you'll do it. You'll
just do it.
Simple as it is, you'll find time and do it. If it means that much to you.
Okay. And so I know nobody's really performing live, guys. So a question that I've started asking, just to remind us that it's still out there, what is your craziest or funniest or just a performing moment for you guys as a group that stands out?
Well, what stands out for me?
I think Wally would agree with me. It was like a few years ago, we joined the Memphis Blues Society. Mm-hmm. And they came to a couple of us. She said, why don't you guys come out for the trial for the blues challenge? We laughed. We said, well, but we're not blues artists. We're our music is not really blues. They said, well, I said, we have some blues songs, but we're not blues artists. Just come out and try anyway. So, we went around and around and around. Some of us did, some of us didn't. We said, oh, well, we're trying to get out. So let's go out and our thing was, we tried out for the Blues Foundation Blues Challenge. We didn't think we're gonna win. It's just a chance for exposure.
Right.
And the killing part was when they announced it we won. We were like, what?
Okay.
I was jumping up and down and screaming.
We're like, who are the Lizzard Kings? That's us.
American Idol moment.
Another thing that stands out for me is we got a gig down at Ground Zero Blues Club. And like Charles said, we're not really a blues band. We play a lot of blues. But we got down there, and Bill Luckett, Morgan Freeman, he's a famous actor. Him and Bill Luckett own it. So we get down there, and Bill Luckett, he's down there, and we were talking to him, and we told him we were an all-original band. And he said, well, if I'd known y'all were an all-original band, I wouldn't have hired you. And so we got up and played, and he thought he liked us a whole lot. We played down there ever since then, a lot of times.
We've been there 7 times now. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you. I'm gonna.
All right, Renell.
Thank you, Renell. We appreciate you very much.
Nice
Absolutely.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, everyone, that was the Lizzard Kings, and this was episode 29. I want to thank you all for stopping by this week, and I hope you enjoyed the music and the conversation. As always, please drop down into the description section below and make sure you go to the band's social media pages, etc. Show them love. I want to thank everyone who is supporting this podcast. I'm seeing a lot of growth, and I cannot describe how incredibly grateful I am for that. But if you could do me a favor, though, if you listen regularly, please click the subscribe button. It really does help me out. And as always, be kind and make some noise.